joined by phone by Justice Susan Owens, who's running for re-election to the Supreme Court, Position 2. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and give us a 2-minute introduction. Oh, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead with a 2-minute introduction as soon as you're ready.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for letting me do this by phone. I prefer to do it in person, as you probably do, but we have had a busy last week, and we are having court tomorrow and Thursday, so given the time that it takes to drive to Seattle and back these days, it's just, it would be impossible or very inconvenient to do that. My name is Susan Owens. I am, I'll go out with this. I grew up in North Carolina. I say that because someone who was touring the temple today asked me where I was from, like I was an alien. So I went to Duke in Carolina, and I ended up marrying someone from Oregon and taking the bar there, and then taking the bar in Washington. And my first job was to be legal services attorney for what was then called Olympic Legal Services, which served Clallam and Jefferson County. And I did that for a couple of years. My whole career was spent in Clallam County before I was elected to the Washington Supreme Court. As it turned out, I was in private practice after I was with legal services because I wanted to do a little bit of criminal law, which I did. But as it turned out, I became a judge at a very early age, and that was just because I happened to be at the right place at the right time when the county commissioners created a new district court position in western Clallam County. And I was initially appointed to that new position and served there and was elected 5 times as district court judge. It was a part-time job, and it was I also maintained a private practice for a few years, and I was also chief judge for the Quileute tribe and chief judge for the lower Elwha-S'Klallam tribe. So I guess my point of reference is I've been a judge for a long time, actually 37 years in July, which is seemingly hard to believe, but I did start pretty young. That's not an opportunity many young attorneys get. So here I am for the last 17 years, and I'm ready to answer any of these questions about my experiences here.
Great, thank you. So now we have our 4 prepared questions that we're asking all candidates for Supreme Court. I'll go ahead and ask the first one. These are 2-minute answers. What do you think were the top accomplishments of the recently completed term of the court?
You mean the winter term?
I believe that'd be the most recent one, or if you want to talk about the last year, that would also work.
That would probably be better. I can't really think of what we've done. We've actually done a lot of cases, and we've gotten them out rather quickly. I mean, this might not mean a lot to you, but it does to people that have been on the court. Is we only have about 3 or 4 cases on what we call the 180-day list, which is cases that have gone over 180 days, and that is the lowest it's been, the shortest list that it's been since I've been on the court. We have a lot of things going that are not yet accomplishments, but we're on our way to accomplishments. One would be a pretrial reform on bail. We're still working on gender issues. We have a new chair of the Gender and Justice Commission, which I'm a new member of that. I was, and the other thing, I'm a part of the Gender and Justice Commission that we're working on is we are working on a state tribal consortium, and that has been tried before and hasn't been completely successful, but it's showing signs of success at this point. In fact, the court was in Colville, Nispelum, for the Colville tribe last week as visiting court. And I think that would be another one of, we accomplish that every year. Mrs. Gonzalez and I are co-chair of the visiting court, and we've started going to some smaller places as opposed to some larger places. So we've really done a lot of outreach, and I'm very proud of that. Everything we do is big, so big or go home, right?
All right, question number 2. Please share an incident or aspect of your work history that has changed or enhanced your interpretation of the law.
Run that one by me again, please.
Sure. Please share an incident or aspect of your work history that has changed or enhanced your interpretation of the law.
I think probably being a judge in a small town or small community. I guess the community was rather large geographically, but rather small people-wise. But it made me look at the law up close and personal. I know the first time I ran, one of the newspaper interviewers asked me, and I'll say this in sort of a condescending way, did I ever think about people's constitutional rights? And I think my answer was I thought about it every day because I was signing warrants and looking at governmental activity for that affected the lives of people that I knew, people whose children went to school with my children, people that I saw in the grocery store. And it was, it sort of, I certainly thought about all this, when I was practicing criminal law. Of course you think about it, but it's a little different when you're the judge and you have to make that decision. So I'd say that experience, and particularly in the early years, formed a lot of my Bill of Rights views that might not have come from a textbook.
Great, thank you. Question 3, please describe your beliefs around the concept of restorative justice and whether you see a potential for judicial action from the bench as influential on that process.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a very popular idea. Of course, I came to it a little early because of my tribal court experiences where that is what it's called, restorative justice. It's got other names now. We have the drug court, we have the DUI court, we have the veterans court. Ooh, there's a new one that I can't even think of. Oh, we have the community court, which they have in Olympia here, and they have in Spokane. There's one, I think that's the one that's the the original community court. It's geared toward the homeless. It's wildly successful. And Justice Stevens and I were invited over there in December, and it's working quite well. We were there for the opening of their second community court in a different neighborhood than the downtown neighborhood where the original one happens. So, of course, it's been very successful. Not all counties are doing the restorative courts, some of which is because of money. We had a case about that, and money was probably money plus sort of the stubbornness of the local judges, but mainly money. They weren't able to get grants like they were in the early days. I can tell you that Clallam County was the first community in the country to have a juvenile drug court, and as far as I know, they still have it. So yes, I think it's a great idea. I mean, you have rules in the community, or the prosecutors and the team, the community court teams, which is the prosecutors, the social workers, the defense attorneys, drug and alcohol counselors, whatever is pertinent to the subject that unites the community courts. I'm calling them community courts because I think that is what they are. So yeah, I think they're a great idea.
Thank you. And question 4, if elected, do you have any specific priorities for the court's next term?
No, I don't. One of the things I like about the job is you can have some ideas, but it doesn't always work out like that. Things come up that you substitute priorities based on the needs of the moment. And I want to continue on the Gender Justice Commission. I have been the chair of the Judicial Conference, which is for all the judges, for 13 years. I gave it up this year because it's my re-election year, but I'm going to reassume that role next year. The person that stepped in for me said I could have it back. and I intend to accept that. It's still an open offer. I don't see anything else other than we've got some big cases in the pipeline that probably still deserve a little more work, but I think they'll make a big impact when they're published. And that really should be the focus of our ambitions, get the cases out in a timely manner and giving guidance to the trial courts. That's clear.
Great, thank you. So now we'll open it up to follow-up questions. Members of our board can ask whatever they want. These are 1-minute answers, and I would just ask board members to kind of walk over to the phone if they want to ask a question. So we'll start with Ben and then Clayton.
Thanks for joining us tonight. My question is, right now, Seattle prosecutors are seeking to vacate more than 500 marijuana offenses from before legalization. And I was wondering if you would support this sort of initiative across the state.
Sure, I would if it's not too expensive.
Thank you.
You know, the smaller counties don't have the resources that Seattle does, so you know, I've been opposed to criminalization of marijuana since I was in college, so I'm not sure how practical it is given your, what do I want to say, your technical IT capabilities. Where I come from, there weren't a huge amount of possession charges. I rarely saw them in my district court unless they were associated with another charge, most commonly a DUI, and there'd also be marijuana in the car or in the pocket.
Thank you.
But if you can do it, I don't see any reason not to do it.
Clayton.
Hi, Justice Owens. I'm Clayton Evans. And I wonder if you could offer a few comments on the Washington State Supreme Court decision of 1931 or 35 regarding the personal income tax, because it bears on every subject that comes before us.
Yes, and well, I mean, it's at the present time it's unconstitutional, and I'm not sure. Maybe you can tell me, because I'm not sure the last time it was it on a referendum or an initiative, and it failed. I can't remember when the courts looked at it again since 1931.
I'm not aware of that. Hugh Spitzer, whom you may know, teaches constitutional law. Yeah, he has written that decision, in his opinion, is not valid, is not constitutional, which is part of the reason for my asking the question.
Yeah, I haven't studied it other than I'm aware of it, for quite some time. I haven't studied it because I haven't had to. It really hasn't gotten close in my tenure on the court to being on the court. I think there was an initiative.
Yeah, 1098, I believe.
Okay, but it's just not going to pass.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Until it does, I guess I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
But it's an issue. Especially, I know it's been. I've heard recent talk about it, particularly since the head taxes come up, and I actually saw some emails from people that said, ironically, from people out of state said, Seattle's just going to have to, Washington's just going to have to get an income tax.
Yes.
Politically interesting issue. I know Oregon has one, but when we had the recession, this was longer than 2009. Farther back than that, there was some kind of recession, and everybody, Oregon was in far worse shape with their court system. They didn't even have public defenders, and they literally had to stop prosecuting a lot of a lot of crimes, some of which weren't exactly low level. And we were hurting too, but not quite that badly. So it's just an issue that, what am I trying to analogize it to? It's just probably not going to come up politically for a long, long time.
All right. Are there additional follow-up questions?
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Nicole. I was wondering if you could describe an instance of where you were faced with an ethical dilemma and how it was resolved.
No, I couldn't think of one. I mean, I know that's a pretty lame answer, but I saw that question and
Okay.
I've been a judge a long time, and I err on the. I don't see many conflicts. I can pretty much see the ethical way through. I'm not perfect, and I admit probably you would have some disagreements with me, but it's just not something that's an obstacle for me.
Okay. I have another.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. What extent do you think that a judge should or should not defer to the actions of the legislature?
Well, I mean, I think there are many occasions when we defer. This legislature has a lot of power, unless they're crossing constitutional lines. And, I won't even mention it. Big case that has been taking up a lot of our time for the last, maybe count how long it's been in the courts, probably the last 10 or 12 years. And you get into disagreements about whether the line has been crossed or not crossed. I think we're waiting to see, the three of us that are running for re-election are waiting to see if there's another group of people that think we have crossed constitutional lines in some of our cases, as happened 2 years ago when three of our members were running and took a beating because of the criticism that the court had been crossing lines. That's what we're charged with doing, is interpreting the Constitution, and if it clashes with the legislature, too bad. But I'm happy to defer to them in their area of expertise and political power. So that's my answer.
Excellent. Thank you.
We have time for another question or two. All right, well, I have one. You've probably in the more senior half of the court at this point. I'm wondering if you've seen any changes in how the Supreme Court as a body has operated during your tenure, whether the administration or the level of discussion. How would you compare it to 10, 12 years ago?
It operates pretty much the same. We're pretty tenacious about sticking with tradition. We still walk in order of seniority. I'm number 3. I like that. When we had the change in membership, I got bumped down to a different seat. I didn't like that. Somebody else got bumped to a different office. He didn't like that. But we stick with it. The main difference is the personalities and becoming a senior justice when I'm used to being the junior justice. And that's the change, is the personalities. We try to stick with precedent when we can. Well, most of the time, unless we can't, I guess would be the different way to answer that question. And we have technology. That's a big deal. We couldn't, when I first came on the court, I wasn't supposed to take home written materials out of the building because it was not considered safe. When we first got email, I couldn't use it outside the building. We've had to put up security windows and glass. I guess it's plastic, not glass, but in the clerk's office, that's been a big change. At one time, we had to consider whether we were going to have metal detectors to get into the building. We decided not to. There's been a lot of changes, but I think the core work of the court hasn't changed. Only with the personalities. And we're all equal, so.
All right, thank you. So we're about out of time. If you want to take 30 seconds for a closing statement.
I only have 15 seconds according to my clock. and thank you very much. I registered to be a candidate today, and I want to know, I'll tell you that none of us have opposition yet, and every day without an opponent is a good day. So Justice Gonzalez and Justice McLeod and I are breathing easy tonight until tomorrow. So we hope, we thank you for doing this. Like I said, it's more fun for me to go meet you all, especially the younger attorney. You know, you're younger, and you're not all attorneys. I know that. But thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready.